It's quite a dark day. It's 2 p.m. I'm here in Villa Langostura, a little bit more north in Bariloche. And I'm volunteering at this place. We're doing permaculture. Well, they do permaculture here. And I realized one thing, and that thing is that the local economy is almost dead in a sense. That now everything's globalized and we depend globally. We don't take responsibility locally, and that's what I want to get to in this video. Reviving the local economy. What is the local economy? How to do it? And yeah, so the local economy is basically as a community, your town. Not the city. I mean, the city, yes, if you live in a big city. But it first starts off with the town, with your street. Who are your neighbors? And from there, that's when you start growing this community. And you create an economy. Nowadays, everybody buys a house. And in the house, they drive to their job, which is far away. At least 15 minutes. So you're not producing economy in your area. And there, before you go back home, before you go back to your community, you do your groceries. Your school is a little far away. Everything that you do is outside where you live. And so you depend on what's happening outside of your community, outside of your neighborhood. And so we're all dependent on what's happening. And the moment that the global economy gets destroyed, there is no local economy to back it up. There is no, let's say you live in, any city. And all the produce that gets imported is no longer available. Let's just say the ship that was coming in everything was rotted, and if that is what you're dependent on, then you have no food anymore. And to fix that is to be like, okay, as a community, come together and be like, hey, what could we produce in the land that we live in? Maybe not tomatoes, but we could probably do carrots or potatoes and produce something, Obviously, each land has its own attributes, and you can't produce everything, but you can produce something. And that's what we need to get to. We need to start, everybody should have a garden. Everybody. I don't care if it's a flower. I don't care if it's, just a decorative plant, something that has life and welcomes life. A big problem is the bees. There are no bees because there's no life. There's no worms because there's no life. And re-educating that, making sure that education gets passed on. The permaculture education, the agriculture education is something that we can't lose, because once that is all lost, then we all become dependent on what's happening globally. That's just not. We're putting ourselves in a very dangerous position, because when problems arise outside, we're not ready as a community. We're not ready locally, and if we create a local community, then we would become independent. And that's something that we need to achieve, something that we need to strive for, to become independent. Not independent as an individual, independent as a community, your neighbors. Tell your neighbor, hey, do you have chickens? Oh, okay, then I don't have to go shop for some eggs. I'll buy from you. And look, I got strawberries coming in. Do you want marmalade or do you just want strawberries? I'll sell that. Interchanging services. Not having to use dollars or, fiat currencies. Or, if someone has a horse, you could use they're number 2 for compost. Oh, recycling and reusing, all of that as a community. And I mean, it has many benefits, not just, making it cheaper, locally sourced goods, obviously with no toxics used. Because nowadays, if you go shop something at these big supermarkets, well, good luck and start praying, And so, being responsible for what you produce, because you're going to be like your neighbor. Hey, neighbor, do you use any chemicals on your products? And well, most likely they won't. And if they do, then you tell them, hey, look, as a community, hey, we should start making everything organic, because it's our health that we're dealing with. We got to make sure, we got to be responsible. And yesterday we went to this event, a local event, and they were talking about this, about being, locally independent as a community. And the topic is like, oh, what if the president is, Republican, or what if the president is Democratic and we're not getting the funds and whatnot? Or at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Like, yes, it can impact your life in a way or two, but we as a community have to do the things we want to do. We should hold ourselves responsible. If there's a local garden that you want to make, you got to make it. You're not going to wait till the president says, yeah, you go ahead and make it, because he's not going to do that. So you got to do it yourself. You got to do it as a community, and stop relying on other people to feed you. Because the moment they stop feeding you, and most likely that point will come, then you have no food. So that's why we got to become independent as a community. Just imagine, like your neighbors having chickens, cows, sheep. You could really feed yourselves as a community, and that's something we ought to strive for. And it's so easy. We just have to change our mindset. We have to stop thinking, oh, if I want to buy food, if I want to buy a house, or if I want to do this or that, then I have to go get a job far away, corporate job and whatnot. And you could do that. You could take the benefits from a global economy, but still come back to your local economy and make something. I don't know, if you're doing carpentry or plumbers, you could do. There's all these services that you could interchange as a community. And yeah, like, I understand that this world is becoming globalized every day, and that's okay. That's good. There's so many benefits. There's so many places in this world where humans wouldn't be able to live, and thanks to this global economy, people could live there. But what I'm trying to get at is to not forget that the local economy is the most important part. Without a local economy, without that community is worthless. It will only depend on the corporate offices that, I don't know, Siemens or McDonald's brought in. And once they want to relocate their offices, then that community has no jobs, and that community isn't prepared because they didn't build the local economy. And, well, at that point, you just got to pray, because you have nothing, and all the jobs that you were dependent on are now lost. So that's just something we have to look for. We have to just make sure, we have to start building, because that local economy is being lost every more, because we're all getting pushed into big cities where you don't have to worry about growing your own food or being capable of fixing a wall or fixing the bathroom. And all these capabilities are worth so much in a local community. In a global economy, well, you have so much competition, and so you just don't bother learning all of this important stuff. You just go pay someone to do it because you got a global economic job. But yeah, so just I want everybody to think about it and start trying to produce locally. I want communities to be built, local communities to be built, where neighbors are actually friends, where neighbors interchange services, where they interchange fruits and interchange love, because that's the most important ingredient of a local community is love. Being able to have each other's backs when it gets hard, and it will. There's easy times and hard times, and that we must know. So just yeah, that's it. I mean, there's really not much I gotta say. Just build local communities. Start talking to your neighbors and start building, man.